Hey guys, super excited for today's video. I am now on my way to my dad's office to go do a little interview with him, and he's gonna answer those questions that some of you guys sent in. So I am very excited and curious to see what he has to say to those. I am trying to use an actual professional camera this time. It seems to be coming out kind of blurry, but we're just gonna roll with it and just gonna experiment and see what happens. So here we go. Scott A. Humble, president. So official. Hey, Dad.
Hey, Sarah.
Are you ready for your interview?
Yes, I'm very ready. Attitude adjuster?
Yes. Okay. So welcome to my dad's office.
Oh, I did
So, the first question is, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What drives you? What are you passionate about?
Well, I like the daily challenges of running a business, and I take a lot of pride in all the good we do for patients. And I enjoy working with my staff and helping them achieve their goals too.
That's awesome. So somebody asked, how did you get to own and start Humble Physical Therapy?
It's kind of a long story, but
Summarize. It's okay.
okay. So I moved to Corpus Christi, Texas from Nebraska after I finished physical therapy school. I took my first job, and there was a second opportunity for me within about 4 months, so I went to work for a lady that had an outpatient physical therapy clinic here in town. And it wasn't long, and I had a fellow PT friend. He came to me and he wanted me to partner up with him and start a PT practice. And although I wasn't even a year out of school, I thought about it and thought, well, I don't really have much to lose. I'm single. I have no children. I have no wife. I really don't have anyone to take care of but myself. So why not give it a try? And so we embarked in opening up a clinic in Sinton, Texas, and a second one in Beeville, Texas at the same time, basically with no money. And so we opened up 2 clinics. We made deals on leasing, and so we basically leased places for free and got free equipment for 6 months before we had to start paying the vendors and paying on the lease. So it worked out pretty good, although I did have to scrape about $20,000 together. And so we opened 2 clinics. The partnership didn't last long. I felt like I was doing 3 times the work he was doing. We didn't agree on a lot of things, and so I thought it was best we just split. I took the Sinton clinic and he took the Beeville clinic, and I think both of us were very successful after that in the PT market. So yeah, that's basically how it got started, and started out with 1 employee, and well, that was me. And then after a couple of weeks, I hired an office employee and pretty much did it with 2 of us for a period of time. And yeah, it was, there was no money, so we basically had to learn how to collect, how to bill things, how to collect for the services.
That's crazy.
And you have to wait. You had to wait for months before checks would come in. And then, once you start making enough money on the business end, then you can hire some more staff, and just one thing rolled into the next.
Wow, so you had to just learn as you went on, basically, right?
Oh,
just
yeah.
Trial and error and...
A lot of trial and error.
And now you've got 6 clinics with how many staff?
I have about 155 employees at 6 locations, PT locations, and then we have an administrative location where we do our billing and collection work, and also where I work most of the time.
If y'all ever need physical therapy, go to Humble.
Go
They're
to
the
Humble.
best.
Yeah, I think I had a...
So, for the next question, somebody asked, what is the biggest factor that has helped you be successful? I feel like you just...
The biggest factor?
I feel like you just have such a great mentality. Like, you're always so positive. Like, you always find a way to make things work. I feel
That's
like.
true. I mean, I have a real strong work ethic, which I got from my parents. My parents both grew up on farms and then became teachers. And my dad, later on, most of his life, he was a high school principal, superintendent, and like a lifetime coach. I mean, he coached every sport imaginable because, you know, he always worked. Both my parents worked in real small schools in South Dakota and Nebraska. And but definitely my work ethic takes me through. I know how to work, and I have to, you know, I was always taught you start something, you finish it. So, you know, sometimes you want to give up and just it just gets to be too hard, and you have to just be patient and put in the time, put in the hours, and get it done. And then on top of that, really, I have really good problem solving skills, and I'm not sure where I got all that, but you know, if there's a problem, I'll figure out how to solve it. And sometimes you have problems you just have to accept that there's no solution to it, and just accept it and move on.
Facts. Yeah, I remember when you wanted me to play basketball, and I like didn't really want to. This is in high school. I didn't really want to, and I did it anyway. It's like, okay, fine, I'll play basketball. And then I wanted to quit. Like, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks into it, and you were just like, no, you are not quitting. Like,
Right.
You have to finish what you start. So you definitely like implemented that in me and probably Dylan too, in other ways.
I think you quit though.
I think I did.
So, but in the end, we thought about it, and it just wasn't the right thing for her to do at that time.
I'm still a baller.
You know, being happy and yeah, just being happy has a lot to say for itself. It's important. So, yeah, sometimes you don't have to suffer through things just because it's the right thing to do, but most of the time I like finishing. You know, when you give somebody your word that you're going to do something, I think you should do it. Sometimes it's painful, even in business, when you promise something and then you find out later, I should have never promised this. That was an error, it was a mistake. You still have to own up to it, and sometimes it costs you a lot of money. Sometimes it you know, costs you certain relationships, but in the end, it's the right thing to do.
Yes. Okay, 3 business tips. Ready, go. Number 1.
Number 1, work hard.
Number 2.
2, surround yourself with the best employees you can find.
Number 3.
3 is my dad's old saying. He said, these are the 3 F's. Be firm, fair, and friendly.
Firm, fair, friendly. I can remember
3
that.
F's.
3
Of
F's.
Marvin Humple.
So now we're going to get into some non-business related questions. Something a little bit more fun. So the first question we have is, what's your favorite place to travel to?
Well, my favorite place in the world has always been Playa del Carmen. And
Oh, yeah.
the Playa del Carmen area, south of there. And we had lots of trips there.
Yeah.
We stopped going to Mexico about 6 years ago. Just felt like it wasn't safe. You know, beyond Playa del Carmen, I love Europe. We've traveled to Paris and Dublin and London and Rome. Previously, years ago, I was in Austria.
You were?
I had a trip to the Czech Republic planned this year in March, and it got canceled because of COVID.
Sorry guys, we're having some technical difficulties. I had to switch to my phone, but that's okay. My dad has a ring light in his office too.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna be making some videos in the future.
That's my plan. I need to practice.
I'm trying to get him into TikTok, but
TikTok.
we'll see. Okay, so we were talking about your favorite place to travel to. You said you had plans this year, but because of COVID, you couldn't go through with them. But I've been to some pretty awesome places with you too.
Yeah. Nebraska.
My cousin on his side got married in Rome, actually.
Yeah.
And so I got to go with him, Dylan and I.
We got to see a wedding inside the Vatican. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And then, of course, I've been to Nebraska. It's always a great place. My dad grew up in like a really small town of how many people?
About 580 is what we had when I was growing up. I think they're down to 320 or something. Butte, Nebraska.
Guys, this is like a ghost town. Like, you go there and there's just nothing. It looks like you're in a movie. But you make your own fun. And later on, I know someone wanted you to share a crazy, funny story about growing up there. But we can wait till the end for that.
Okay.
But the next question is, how often do you hunt?
Well,
You're a big hunter.
people think I'm a big hunter because I've got a lot of birds on my wall and I have animals on my walls at the house. I did one Africa hunt back in the 90s with both my brothers. That was quite fun. I did a hunt to Russia, a Russian bear hunt. And other than that, I mean, growing up in Nebraska and in a small town, we didn't have a lot to do in the winter. And so we hunted. It was fun. You could go with friends. And we hunted pheasants and grouse and quail, and there were ducks and geese and lots of different animals growing up. But we used to hunt a lot. A ranch, and we hunt deer and hogs out there and quail. It's nice to take friends out, and actually your brother has been out there twice this year.
I need to go.
And Sarah, last time she was there was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And
I personally just don't like killing deer. I'll kill a hog.
a hog, yep.
But I like nature. Like, I like just being there watching the
That's
deer.
fun. Me too. And not out there just to kill things. We're out there to enjoy the outdoors and
We're just killers.
enjoy watching the animals move and how they interact. It's really, really interesting.
Yes. Okay, so for the next question is, what is your favorite restaurant in Corpus Christi? I think I know your answer to this, but
Well,
tell them.
I have two favorites really. It's I like Vietnam restaurant and the Republic of Texas Bar and Grill. There's a lot of other really good places to eat also, but those are the ones that it's special just going.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's
just
funny,
the
it's
atmosphere.
anybody else you take too, they just feel like, wow, this is so cool being here. Thanks for bringing me here.
Yes, from Vietnam, definitely the broccoli as an appetizer.
Yep.
If you go there, you gotta get it. Next question is, what is your favorite thing about being a dad?
You, baby. You get to make some really good memories. You get to watch your kids learn and watch them change year to year and just grow into wonderful young adults.
Yes.
She's got a lot of work to do yet. I mean, college is tough, and I don't envy you having to do all that. I don't want to redo all that. And I wouldn't want to start a business again or do any of that either. Like I said, it just comes with age. As you get older, you just become more satisfied with what you've done and, come to terms with it and decide, well, what do I want to do now? I mean, what's the next step? And now the kids are in college, I want to travel. So I've always wanted to travel. My parents always loved traveling. We had to travel by station wagon. station wagon back in the day, and we go
What?
from Nebraska to California about every other year. My dad had an aunt out there in Visalia, California, and we crossed the desert with a pickup or with a what'd I say? Station wagon. We'd go with the station wagon with no air conditioning, so we would rough it and always stay in one motel room, and so I slept on the floor of a lot of motel rooms.
Because there's 6 of y'all?
And I didn't.
Right? 6?
Yep, 6 of us in the family, and I was the youngest, so yeah, I don't think I slept in a hotel bed until I was maybe in high school, if I was lucky.
Wow.
And never by yourself.
That's
You never got a
insane.
bed to yourself.
I feel like,
we're sleeping with somebody else.
yeah, and I feel like nowadays the youngest child gets the better treatment.
Oh yeah.
And back in the day, right, I feel like the youngest child got the worst treatment.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in my family, I think some of my siblings always thought I had it so much better than them. And as I got older, I told them, well, yeah, Mom and Dad were a lot smarter, after you 5. So with me, they were just better parents. It's natural.
Yeah.
So you got the best too, because
Yeah. I was also the only girl, though. So that was another another factor in that too. Next question is what was it like going to so many tennis matches in your lifetime? This is a good question. I mean, you could probably talk for hours about so many experiences at matches from all 3 of us.
Yeah.
But you can try to summarize it as much as you can.
Well, youth tennis is interesting. I mean, since it's an individual sport, it changes the dynamics of everything too. But at the level that the kids played at, which is the top level, super champ level, you run into some really, really competitive kids and very competitive parents.
Oh yeah.
And so you witness a lot of really strange behavior with parents. I mean, parents, yelling at the kids a lot and hitting them sometimes.
Hitting them?
And not really realizing there's people around watching them. But just verbally abusive was, it was just crazy.
I feel like you've gotten into a few fights with parents too.
I did a few times.
Remember? If you could tell them, maybe if you remember
well,
one of them.
I'm the nicest guy in the world, but I also have a side of me that's protective, and I'm going to always be protective of my children. So if somebody started acting oddly toward my children, even if they're on a tennis court, I probably would go tell them stop. And usually these kind of personalities don't want somebody to tell them to stop. And so, yeah, I mean, I was threatened several times, and sometimes by groups of people.
Oh my goodness.
The thing is, all you can do is just tell them stop. I'm not going to be part of whatever y'all are wanting to do here. I don't know you, and I don't want to know you, so stay away. And if they won't, then sometimes you got to kind of call them out and say, all right, well, I know once when I was still learning the tennis crowd, this guy just wouldn't leave me alone. It was like an hour into it. And so finally I told him, I said, you know what, I can't take this anymore. I said, you and I are going to walk across the street, and then I'm going to let you go ahead and take a swing at me, and then we're going to have it out. I don't care if I win the fight, lose the fight, it's just going to be over though.
What?
And I never heard him talk again after that.
Oh.
So I guess he wasn't a fighter. He was
you're a fighter.
He was just a hassler. He just liked hassling people.
So my dad was the Golden Gloves champ of what year?
1991 maybe. I don't know. 90, 91 maybe. I was the light heavyweight novice champion. So we get that straight. But it was still impressive because I'd never boxed before. So a lot of people in Corpus Christi still remember that. And we had a guy come into our clinic, a patient, about a year ago, and he was telling all the staff how he used to watch me box.
What?
And
didn't know that.
everybody, they said, he didn't box. He's not a boxer. And so the guy brought a program back the next PT visit that had my name in it and all the stats. So.
Oh my gosh. And
so it was a good move because my staff respected me a lot more than.
I bet.
They were scared.
I bet.
They go, watch out, this guy might take a swing at us.
Yeah,
We
Golden
don't
Gloves
work
champ. And I remember you telling me that your nickname that they gave you was the White Hope or something like that.
I was the Great White Hope.
I think that's so funny.
They were trying to set me up these smokers they do, which were these small professional fights. And they had my life all planned. I was going to be a professional boxer.
Were you seriously?
And I told them, I don't want to have to come to work and have black eyes and broken jaws. And I don't think that would work very good. And so that was the end of that pipe dream.
That's funny. How many tennis matches do you think you've been to in your lifetime? If just like
I would
there was a number.
I would say each of you kids, I probably, most of the time you'd play minimum 20 or 30 matches a year. It might be more like 50 with local ones and stuff. So think about even 5 years each, easily 2,000, 3,000 tennis
insane.
matches between the kids. And we used to watch a lot of tennis too, and I played tennis too,
Mm-hmm.
and my wife played. So yeah, who knows, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 tennis matches.
Crazy. Okay, well, the last question we can get to is, this is from Emily Favre. I'll give her a shout out.
Okay.
She says, tell a funny / crazy story about growing up in Nebraska. So Emily Favre, her dad is also from Nebraska, and her dad and my dad are like best friends.
Well, most of the stories I can't tell you because, it involves us doing things we probably shouldn't have been doing. But, in a small town, sometimes you provided your own entertainment. And so everybody, with the guys I would hang out with, it was always like, what are we going to do? So somebody would just come up with some idea. I remember one Halloween, we had the bright idea that we were just going to hassle the local police. So there was a local town cop in our little town, and then there was the county sheriff also lived in our town. And so we decided, we went out with, I was dressed in a white sheet all the way to my feet and a mask, a full mask. And so we went out and we decided we're going to take these big round bales and we're going to roll them over on the road. Not on the highway, but on one of the roads in town. And they were just sitting there because, they basically farm right there in a little town. So we have these big round bales, so we roll them on the road, and then we would hide over in the trees. And there was a guy at the end in a trailer house, and we could see him there, and we could see him on the phone. So he was calling it in. And so then we waited about 10 minutes, and the cops would show up, and they'd roll them off the road, and then we'd watch for the cop to drive off, and then we'd jump out of the trees, and we'd roll them back on the road. And so this went on, a couple times. And so then we're like bored with it. So we decided, okay, so as the cop was pulling away, we jumped out and we rolled it on so he could see it in his rearview mirror. And so he sees it and turns on the lights, whips around, and starts chasing us. And we're just running and running all through town, through people's yards and through the streets. And the next day, they came up to school, which they would quite often. English class was the first class of the day. And they knock on the door and they tell the English teacher, I need him and him and him, and they pull us out of class.
It's like a movie.
And so they pull us out of class. That was one of the many times. And they march us down to the courthouse, which was just a couple blocks away. So they take us down, they separate us all. And they started asking us questions. What were you doing last night? Who were you with? And all this stuff. And of course, we had a pact, which you could do back then. There was no cameras on you or anything. And so, yeah, you just never admitted to anything. And how are they going to prove it? And one of the police, he looked at me and he goes, "Humple, I know that was you." Because he said, "I know how you run."
Oh.
And so that's why I always tell people, let me tell you how small my town was. People think they're from small towns. I go, my town is so small that I could be running through the dark with a full sheet and a full mask on, and they know who I am. By the way,
wow. That's insane.
It's a funny one.
How old were y'all?
Oh, probably like 16, 17.
And my dad's graduating class was also super small. It was how many?
I think 21.
21.
And
so many of y'all are like super successful to this day too.
Yeah, a lot of people that came from that little town are successful, and so I guess we were learning some life lessons there that took us somewhere.
Yeah, look at you.
And a lot of my high school classmates, we went kindergarten through 12th grade together. There was about 16 of the 21. So we knew each other quite well.
I'm sure.
And, there was no secrets. Everybody knew everything about everyone since they were 5 years old.
Wow.
So you could get teased for things from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a good place to grow up.
Butte, Nebraska.
I was able to make it good enough. Anyway, successful in the PT business. I don't know if I would have been successful at anything else. I just seemed to have found the right calling.
For sure.
Thanks to watching soap operas. Got me where I am today.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions. I'm sure everyone will love them, and yeah.
Well, thank you for having me on your program.
Thank you.
Love you, baby.
Love you too.